and welcome to another episode of The Breakaway. I am David Shealy. Evan is in Las Vegas. The way the Bolts are looking, I wouldn't be surprised if he bets them to win the Stanley Cup final. I hope he splits the money with me. As long as you split the money with me, Evan, we are good. All right, I digress on that. We've got a great show cooking for you this morning. We're talking about Nikita Kucherov smashing franchise records. We're going to be talking about Tanner Jeannot getting into a fight he want nothing to do with. And then we're going to go one-on-one with Darren Raddysh and his unique journey to the NHL. So let's get this party started with the lightning round. The Bolts take on the Pittsburgh Penguins today at 1 o'clock. Pittsburgh is in desperation mode, fighting to sneak into that final wild card spot in the East. These two squads have played twice already this year, both winning a game in Tampa. But the most memorable moment was this: Tristan Jarry scoring a goalie goal after Thanksgiving. The Bolts were 10, 9, and 5 after that loss to Pittsburgh. But now they're one of the hottest teams in the league. Today's contest is the last of this 3-game road trip for the Bolts. It's also their 4th game this week. Tampa Bay will play 4 of its final 5 games inside Amalie Arena. This road trip started with an impressive performance in Toronto, taking down the Leafs 4-1. The very next night, Tampa Bay went into Montreal to visit Marty St. Louis and the Canadiens and won a high-scoring contest 7-4. So as we near the end of the season, there are 2 guys we are keeping a close eye on. One is Braden Point. He is looking for back-to-back seasons with 50 goals and currently sits at 43 with 6 matchups remaining. It won't be easy, but certainly possible when you consider that he's scored in 14 of his last 20 games. And then, of course, Nikita Kucherov, who has shattered his own franchise record for points in a season with 133 and counting. He broke the mark Wednesday in Toronto with that pointer goal and continues to prove he should be the front runner for MVP in the National Hockey League. Since the Bolts entered the NHL in 1992, only 11 skaters have recorded more than 129 points in a single season. Listen to some of the names on this list: Wayne Gretzky, Jaromir Jagr, Mario Lemieux, Connor McDavid, Steve Yzerman, and Nathan MacKinnon, who just joined Cooch on this list. It has been a remarkable run for the future Hall of Famer, and there is no doubt Nikita Kucherov has been the glue for the Lightning from start to finish.
I get to stand there every night, and I hope other people watch. Just how uniquely talented he is. But you can't be that way unless you have an internal drive. He's a marvel to watch.
Now, if the season ended today, the Tampa Bay Lightning would play the Boston Bruins, a team they've beaten 3 times, to begin the Stanley Cup playoffs. There is still a shot for the Bolts to overtake the Maple Leafs for 3rd place in the division. If that happens, they'll play the Panthers, who are ice cold right now. Meanwhile, if you missed the Lightning game on Wednesday, did you at least catch the fight between Jeannot and Ryan Reeves? These are 2 of the heaviest hands in the league. Jeannot doesn't get knocked down by too many guys, but Reeves definitely won this bout in Toronto. Jeannot did not finish that game, was held out of Thursday's contest in Montreal as well. He is considered day-to-day with an upper body injury. As for another injury, Jonas Johansson was hurt at some point in practice or training, and the Tampa Bay Lightning had to dip into its reserves. That's why Matt Tomkins got his 4th career start in the Bell Center. Coincidentally, the last time he was with the club was on November 7th when he played in Montreal and picked up his first and only win. After Thursday night, he's got 2 wins inside the Bell Center, which might be his favorite arena in the league right now. But Tomkins could not get to Tampa in time on Monday to back up Vazzy, so for the first time in Lightning history, the team used the E-Bug, or emergency backup goaltender. His name is Kyle Conan, who lives in St. Pete and airbrushes goalie masks for a living. He actually did this a couple of years ago with the Blues in Tampa, but it meant much more suiting up with the Lightning, considering he is around the team most of the year. And he had the best seat in the house, so you know he had fun with it.
Next to my dad and in my family group chat, and they're pranking you, it's April Fool's. And then I was like, oh, no way. I thought for sure, and then I was like, I think I told Pat, I was like, this is a joke. I'm not coming back tonight. I love hockey, so like just watching these guys skate and getting the front seat to see Vasilevsky play every game. It's like not many better guys to watch in the league, so.
Darren Raddysh's story isn't as crazy as Conan's, but it's still a unique path to the league. At 28 years old, it's hard to remember the blue liner right here is playing his first full season with the Bolts. Before Evan went on vacation, he sat down one-on-one with the D-man about his journey in this week's installment of The Shootout.
For those who aren't familiar with your journey to the NHL, just what did you have to go through, and how many times were you passed over before you finally got the opportunity that you earned really full-time this year?
Yeah, my journey's been it's been quite a long one to get here. I'm not the youngest first-year guy on the team. So, started junior in Erie, Pennsylvania, played 5 years there, and was passed over in the draft, I think 3 or 4 years. Played my last year junior and ended up signing an AHL contract in Rockford, and after 5-6 years, finally got a shot here in Tampa, and I've just been trying to make the most of it ever since.
What would you tell yourself now to that kid who was in Erie of what this journey would be like, and I guess what you learned along the way?
Just kind of stay patient. Everyone's journey is different, and if you work hard and if you do what the coaches ask and play the right way, good things will come. And I've been lucky enough to get the opportunity here. So.
Were you always a D-man growing up?
I played forward up until I was 16 years old, and then my draft year going into the OHL, our coach was like, "Hey, I think you'd be a good defenseman. You see the ice pretty well." So.
What would be a piece of advice? Hey, if you want to be a hockey player growing up, these are the fundamental things you need to learn at a very young age.
Probably just work ethic. I'm a big believer in that, and making sure whenever you're on the ice or whenever you're in practice or anything like that, just making sure you're doing the right things out there, working hard, and try and live in the moment there.
What has it been like working with Victor Hedman?
Vic's awesome. He's going to be one of the best defensemen in the history of the NHL, and just seeing him and how he works in practice, and takes care of his body off the ice and just does the little things right.
And then what is it like to play under John Cooper, who will also likely be a Hall of Famer in his own right?
Yeah, Coop's going to be one of the best coaches in the NHL, and he's very calm. He kind of has that that voice that when you're down or if you're up, it's always kind of level, and it's something that you look for in a coach and in a leader in a hockey team. So.
And then finally, how tough of a decision was it to go fully bald?
Yeah, no, not too hard. I didn't really have too much hair the last couple of years, and my fiance was just like, why don't you try it, see how it looks? And I like it ever since. It's easy when you wake up in the morning. You don't got to do anything to your hair, and just put a hat on, or just walk out the door. So I think my time getting ready kind of went in half there.
Yeah, because I might be on your track here very soon. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, don't say that, Evan. You're doing all right. Keep fighting the good fight with the hair, okay? All right, time for our 3 stars. Coming in at number 3. Let's talk about the Devils and Rangers full-line brawl that we got in the first 2 seconds of their game Wednesday night in the Garden. We even had the coaches barking back and forth on the benches. This fight right here led to 8 ejections, 4 for each team, including former Bolt Barclay Goodrow, who now plays for the Rangers. We head down to the ECHL for our 2nd star. The Cincinnati Cyclones created a milestone moment last weekend when they put an all-black starting lineup on the ice. It's the first time that's ever happened in the history of professional hockey. These brothers came through too. They beat the Wheeling Nailers 3-2. Our 1st star goes to Trippy Nugent. The Lightning have played with heavy hearts this week after learning about Tripp's death on Monday morning. The 7-year-old Lakeland native earned a locker that night against Detroit. The team saw him 6 weeks ago when the squad was in Boston and Tripp was receiving treatment for his cancer. He signed a 1-day contract with the team in 2022 and even sat in John Cooper's boat for Coop's Catch for Kids. He was an important part of the Bolts family, so we send our love and prayers to his parents, Nick and Katie, along with his sister, Lexi. Checking out our Bolts picks records. I had a great week, going 3-1. Evan went 2-2, so we are tied at 9-5. I'll start this one off. I actually have Tampa Bay sweeping the next 3 games. Pittsburgh is the only team that's playing for something, but they are due for a loss. Ottawa and Columbus, they're not making the playoffs. They're not good, so I'm going to take the Bolts over all of those teams. Evan mostly agrees, but he's taking Pittsburgh today and then the Bolts in the next 2 games after that. Should be a good week. Thank you so much for tuning into The Breakaway. I won't see you next week or the week after that because a brother got to get married. I mean, the Bolts have 3 rings. The Bucks have 2 rings. Can I at least get 1? Okay, I will see y'all on the other side. Happy WrestleMania weekend to all those that celebrate. I feel it in my chest. Cody is finishing his story. You heard that, Roman Reigns. We've got more Bright Side coming up.